Doro Sir, and welcome back to my channel. I'm kidding. So, Asaris, I am so sorry that I've been missing for a minute. Just took a small break, but I'm gonna be back on it to enter, 2023 with a bang. And I saw that I got new subscribers. Hi, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I did see that I get a little bit of backlash just because of the way I present some of the cases. I like to get a backstory on some of my cases, so that's just me. If that's not something that you like, go ahead and unsub or move on. Either way, we're good. So with that being said, let's get to it. Warning, the following presentation is intended for mature audiences. This case contains graphic descriptions of a crime as well as crime scene photos, strong language, so viewer discretion is advised. So, on February 14th, 2002, Brianna Maria Lopez was born to Stephanie Lopez and Andy Walters. And even though baby Brianna was born on the day of love, Valentine's Day, that will be the last thing that she would ever receive in her life, because as soon as she arrived to the trailer that her family owned in Las Cruces, New Mexico, there right away she was yelled at, kicked, she was punched by people who were supposed to protect her, love her, take care of her. So occasionally, Stephanie would react to baby Brianna's crying. She would get frustrated with her crying, or she would say she would get too stimulated. We all been there as moms, one's yelling at you that wants chicken nuggets, one's crying, one's taking their pamper off, but it is no excuse for her actions that she claims that she did. So, like I said, Stephanie would say that she would occasionally pinch, bite, and would slap baby Brianna, as well as make her roll off the bed. If she saw her like that she was moving, she would just let her fall. And if not, namas, just because she wanted to, she would literally just push her off the bed while baby Brianna was asleep. So, other than that, most of the time, majority of the time, Andy Walters, her dad, her father, and her uncle Steven would be the ones inflicting most of these, inflicting the abuse. And let me just tell you, it involved kicking, punching. They would throw her. They would just throw her to throw her. And sadly as well, they would end up raping baby Brianna. And keep in mind, this was only while she was just a couple weeks old. Weeks. So, while all this was happening to baby Brianna, Stephanie, she wouldn't do nothing about it. She would just sit there, bien campante, with any care in the world. It's not like she was doing anything. She just didn't give a fuck. She did not care. She did not care that her little girl was suffering, was being abused by her own father and her uncle, Stephanie's brother. It's gonna boil me. And it's gonna boil you too. And while, Brianna was crying, baby Brianna was crying in pain, they would just laugh. They would just laugh at the fact that she was crying and reacting to the shit that they were doing to her. And if they thought, like, oh shit, she's crying too loud or someone's gonna hear her, they would literally muffle her cries by putting pieces of clothing in her mouth. I'm surprised that didn't even get her anytime soon or quicker, because I'm surprised she didn't even suffocate. Babies can suffocate. What do you think they tell you? Like, oh, just put a full onesie when they're born on and that's it. Not even a blanket, not even a teddy bear, nothing in their crib. And they're over here putting shit in her mouth to just stop her from crying. So, this is gonna be like, Just to let you know, it took me a minute. It took me a minute to get all my information together. It took me a minute to finally decide to sit down and do this story, because I kid you not, I would cry and I would just tell my husband, like, hold me, just freaking hold me, because I know. I don't even want to like get into it right now because I'm just gonna boil up, and I don't want that. So after dealing, Baby Brianna dealing with this horrible, nasty, ugly, disgusting abuse for 153 days of her life, it all finally came to an end. So, oh shit, which one? Okay. So, on July 18th of 2002, Andy, Baby Brianna's dad, went out to go get some beers. I guess they were gonna hang out and just chill or something. Honestly, when I was doing my research, I never saw that either Andy or Steven had a job. All I knew was Stephanie had a job, but I didn't know. I don't think they had a job. They were just ahí de colones, haciendo nada, ya sabes. Esos pinches pendejos que no quieren trabajar. So, back to it. So, on July 18th of 2002, Andy went out to get some beer. For all three of them to drink and I guess to chill. And Stephanie would claim that she only had a few beers and then went to bed, leaving baby Brianna, her little baby girl, with Andy and Steven. And that she didn't hear anything that night. That she didn't hear nothing with any commotion, no fussing, no nada. And I call bullshit because, I think as parents, we've been there. We're like, okay, oh shit, the baby's crying, let me get up. You're gonna wake up eventually because you're gonna hear it, because they're not gonna stop until they're soothed, unless their pampers change, unless they're fed, unless they're given what they're crying for. So, that's what Stephanie claimed, that she didn't hear shit. And now baby Brianna, being left alone with Andy and Steven, these two pinches perros, monsters, decided to play with baby Brianna by tossing her with enough force so she can hit the ceiling. And that's not it. They would throw her with enough force up to hit the ceiling, and they wouldn't even catch her on her way down. So obviously, she's gonna cry. It's gonna fucking hurt. She's gonna cry her eyes out. So while she would hit the ground or hit the ceiling, baby Brianna was crying, screaming in agony. They were just laughing at her. They were just like, como si era nada, como si era un juego. Pero Stephanie would claim that she never heard any of it, that she never heard her crying, that she never heard them playing with her like that or anything. So I obviously call bullshit. She heard something, or she knew. I'm pretty sure she knew, pero se estaba haciendo la mensa, bitch. So that was on the night. So later on, around 7:15 in the morning, July 19th of 2002, Stephanie finally woke up to baby Brianna crying. And as she went to go check on baby Brianna, she saw that baby Brianna, her little girl, her baby, was covered from head to toe in bruises, in fresh bruises, okay? So when she asked Steven and Andy about it, they would just say like, oh, we just played a little too rough with her. We were tosco a bit, sorry about that. And it's like, she just took it like, oh, okay. Like, I have siblings and they play tosco with my son, my oldest. And he plays too tosco. He can be tosco. But no mames. No mames. That's honestly all I can say. No mames. So, Stephanie didn't say anything about it. She just fucking brushed it off and left it at that and carried on with her day, ignoring Brianna. Brianna acá llorando, crying her eyes out asking for help, for someone to soothe her, to someone to help her. Y nada. She wouldn't get any help. No one would help her. So later on that day, Andy, her father, ended up sodomizing baby Brianna with his finger during a diaper change. And sadly, that wasn't anything new. He would regularly do this. He would regularly do this because he didn't like the fact that he had to change her. But not only would he do it with his finger, he would also later on claim that he would do it with various foreign objects. So that, you decide what those things could be, because I can't even think of the things that you can do. Like, no. So after a couple hours has passed, you know, I guess they finally got fed up with her crying or something, and they ended up calling, well, Stephanie ended up calling 911 for help. And keep in mind, baby Brianna has been in intense pain for almost a full-on 24 hours now. So Stephanie told the operator that baby Brianna had fallen off her high chair. Thank God they didn't believe that shit, because no, imagine if they did. So as first responders and police ended up getting to, you know, their house, their trailer, they right away saw Brianna's state and they rushed her to the hospital. And when she got to the hospital, they were trying to help her, but sadly, baby Brianna was pronounced dead at 11:10 that day. And baby Brianna ended up dying at the age of 5 months and 5 days. I can only imagine, like, the scene and doctors seeing her, like, seeing a child at that state, seeing a little girl at that state, todo golpeada. So obviously, when Brianna was there, the doctors were horrified with how they saw Brianna, and they said it. She was literally covered from head to toe with bruises, and you could see that there were fresh and old bruises. And when they did the whole thing on her, you know, checked everything, accounted everything on her, like every golpe, every mark, everything. Warning, okay? This is just a warning. I'm letting you know this shit's fucked up, okay? So this is the list. So the injuries that they ended up finding on her included bleeding in the brain, bite marks on her body. They ended up saying that it was a total of 15 bite marks, and broken ribs. Both of her legs were broken. Both of her arms were broken. There was lacerations to her fingers, lacerations to her vagina, as well as her anus, and the list just goes on. Like, I wanted to stop it there just for you can understand the amount, that just for you can have an idea of what this little precious little thing went through. And they ended up ruling out that baby Brianna ended up dying from a cranial cerebral injury. I guess the damage to the brain, you know. Baby Brianna being so young, there was no way she was gonna be able to keep surviving that life. She wasn't gonna keep going. And honestly, thank God, because imagine trying to go through that through the rest of your life, you know, non-stop living your life like that. Eso no es vida. That's surviving. That's not living. But anyways, back at the trailer, police were investigating, but when they looked around the trailer, it's as if baby Brianna never existed, or a baby existed, you know? And when they looked around for the supposed high chair, there was no high chair. There was no crib, there was no playpen, there was no toys. There was hardly any pictures of Brianna, like any existence of her was in that trailer. So when police saw this, they were like, separate all three of them. So they did that. They ended up separating them. And Stephanie said, you know, that night before, she ended up just having a few drinks. Like I said before, she ended up having only a couple of drinks and went to sleep. Andy and Steven claimed that they were drinking and just play video games. That's all they did that night, that they stayed up drinking, but they were only playing with video games. Fucking assholes. I want to like kill them. I want to choke them. Growth indigo. So after putting a little bit more pressure on Andy, Brianna's dad, he finally cracked and told the truth, and he told them everything that happened. So that night, he ended up pointing out that he also added on that he was responsible for some of the bites that he made on baby Brianna. And Steven later on confessed to the same things, you know, the tossing around and, you know, letting her fall to the ground with full force. And he also ended up stating that, that after a couple of beers, he didn't remember starting sexual activities on his 5-month-old niece. But eventually he said that he stopped himself because he knew it was wrong, or that it felt wrong. Really? That felt wrong? You don't think it felt wrong when y'all guys were abusing her, raping her here and there? You don't think it was wrong throwing her to the roof and letting her land on the floor hard enough? You don't think it was wrong to turn the other eye or add on to the abuse? That was now the last straw? No, hombre, de veras. De veras. So, what's even more sad and disappointing is that the grandparents and other family members knew what these 3 motherfuckers were doing. They knew that these monsters were abusing and raping baby Brianna, and they would see her. They weren't hiding baby Brianna. They would take her to family events. They would take her to the carne asadas. They would take her to go visit family, and they would see baby Brianna toda marcada, all bruised up, and they would just voltear. And I'm just gonna say this: if you're that kind of family member or that kind of family that says, "Ay, no digas nada porque qué van a pensar de nosotros," shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and grow the fuck up. Because you're the reason why this toxic fucking circle keeps fucking going. So if I were you and you have family like that, let them the fuck go. Let them the fuck go. It's 2020. It's about to be 2023. It's okay to fucking cut out toxic family members. It doesn't matter if it's your tia, your mom, or your dad. You can cut them off. If they're okay doing that shit to you, being toxic with you, putting you down, judging you, being your family, and especially if it's your mother or your father, let them go. Let them the fuck go, because no, that is not right. And they're gonna end up in a special place in hell for that, for turning it the other way. So, back to it. I'm sorry if I get heated, guys, but I mean, come on. Like I said, this shit took me a minute to finally get on this case because, oh my God, I couldn't. When I was researching, seeing videos, I would cry, and I have a 9-month-old, and I would just see her like what's wrong with people nowadays? Like, that just gets to me. It just boils me. So, trial for all 3 of them was held in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is actually 3 hours north from Las Cruces. And after the whole shebang went down, all 3 of them were charged and convicted. Andrew Walters, Andy, baby Brianna's dad, was charged with intentional child abuse resulting in death, conspiracy to commit intentional child abuse resulting in death, criminal sexual penetration of a child under the age of 13, resulting in the first degree and neglectfully permitting child abuse. He was sentenced to 57 years in prison. I mean, he could do more. I hope someone gets him in there, honestly. Honestly, I hope they shove a fucking pin cap up his ass. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. If you don't like it, leave, unsubscribe, bounce. So, Steven Lopez, the uncle, He was charged with intentional child abuse resulting in death, criminal sexual penetration of a child under the age of 13 in the first degree, and I don't know why, what's the difference? What is the fucking difference? But okay. Okay, so he was sentenced to 51 years in prison. I mean, it's just a 6-year difference, but why not give him the 57? Why not give him more? You know, I would be happy to give him more. But that is just me. And lastly, Stephanie Lopez. She was charged with neglectfully permitting child abuse resulting in death or great bodily harm and was sentenced. Now this pissed me off. She was sentenced to 27 years in prison. But, however, since she was such a fucking good cookie in jail, she was able to get, she was eligible for parole and was released in September 2016. Now, no information was given out to what happened afterwards, like where she's at now. Honestly, I want to find out. Because Stephanie, if you have more kids, I wish they could have fucking tied your tubes. I wish they could have taken out your uterus, because you do not deserve to be a mom. No, you don't. I wish you rot. I wish you everything bad in life. I truly do. And if you ever have another child, I hope that little thing, that precious little thing, finds out what you did. Because con qué cara le vas a decir? With what face are you gonna give her to tell her that you dropped the fucking ball on their older sister? Like, how are you gonna explain that? And y'all guys come, and if you guys comment or say like, it's because no sabíamos cómo ser padres, no sabíamos, y'all guys don't come with a stupid as ass fucking excuse. Y'all guys don't come with a manual. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up. Because that is the lamest ass excuse. How the hell are you gonna say that you're gonna justify your fucking actions by saying, I didn't know how to be a parent? If you didn't, you could have given up your child. You could have left your child at a fire station anonymously, or, you know, just say, you know what, I'm not fit to be a parent. Either because you don't want to, you know, better to not say you don't want to than to make that little baby suffer. So, like I said, I hope you suffer. And I hope you suffer 10 times more than what you put that little baby through. Sorry, I ended up doing my lashes off camera just because I had coffee. So I'm like trembling a bit. But anyways, so the grandparents and the relatives who knew about the abuse, a lot of the research I saw, some of it stated that they either did about 30 or either 60 days in jail. I think they should have done more, maybe 5 years. That sounds fair to me. But they ended up only doing 30 to 60 days because, you know, failure to report the abuse. And after all that was, you know, done, they still needed, you know, someone to claim Brianna's body. And was, I guess, for all the scandal that, all the scandal that baby Brianna made for the family, none of them wanted to come up and claim her. Even in that, dude, even after everything they did, they still are pieces of shit. So nobody came to claim her. Nobody wanted to pay for her funeral, for her burial, for her casket, nothing. Nobody wanted to do that from her family. So obviously when the community found out about this case and then ending up finding out that nobody was trying to put her to rest, for her to find peace, the community got together and they ended up claiming baby Brianna together. And they ended up paying for her funeral, for her to have a proper burial. And the community would leave flowers, balloons, toys on her memorial. And things will honestly switch up, because even though the fucking family, the side of an excuse of family that Brianna had, they were pissed. They were pissed because even at that, oh my God, it pisses me off because even after her death, they're still pieces of shit. They're still trying to be fucking mean to her. So they were so bothered of the fact that the community got together. They were able to give her a proper burial. They were able to give her the love that she never had. Toys. She never had a toy. She never had a toy. I'm gonna cry. She never had a toy, nothing, flowers, balloons, none of that. So the family being pissed because the community was doing so much for Brianna, they ended up finally claiming Brianna's body. They ended up finally claiming Brianna's body, and they ended up putting a cage around her memorial, her grave. They were so pissed and bothered that Brianna was finally getting the love and attention that she deserved, that she needed as a child, that they were like, nope, we need to fuck it up even more. So after, the community saw that, they were enraged. They were enraged at the fact that they put so much money out that later on, they ended up finally were able to unlock the gate, because it was like como si era un perro ahí encerrado. Like if she was a dog in a cage, they just topped it over her. Like, what the fuck? Breathe, Jen, breathe. So the community was able to, take that shit off, or at least unlock it, because like I said, era como una jaula. Nothing could be put on her thing or anything like that. So they were able to, flip that shit around. And even at that, the community got together and they even were able to build, even able to build baby Brianna a memorial bench for people to go visit her, to go talk to her. As I was doing my research, there are a couple people, or at least there's one lady that I saw on TikTok. I think her name is Sylvia. If you see this, thank you. Thank you for cleaning up her grave. Thank you for leaving her things that she never had. Thank you for checking up on her. Like, honestly, because not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people take a minute out of their day to do that for someone without, getting something in return. So I really truly do appreciate that you went out of your way to do that, honestly. So, thoughts? I honestly, and this is just me, like I said, if you do not like the way I am, the way I think on how these monsters, and it's not only Brianna's parents, any person who does any damage to someone who is innocent, I think you're a piece of shit. And I honestly always, if you kill somebody, that's always been my mentality. If you kill somebody, I think I am very stricken, by an eye for an eye. If you kill someone, you die. I am very, very, very on the train of, I think people who rape, molest, or touch a child in an inappropriate way should, I honestly think they should get the death penalty, honestly. Either that or chemical castration. That's an option. That's an option too, if you want to continue your sad, pathetic life. But I truly believe, and I truly hope that Andy and Steven get their karma 10 times folded back for what they did to Brianna. And for Stephanie, I hope that the universe, or God, never gives you the opportunity to ever have family again, honestly, because she does not deserve to be a mother. She does not deserve to have that second opportunity. And like I said, if you don't like the way I think, I'm sorry. This is what I do. This is how I am. I am honest to how I feel, what I think, and if that's too much for you, pues, I'm sorry, but, and to the family members who didn't say shit, I hope you rot in hell. because a single phone call could have saved her life. A single phone call, either to CPS, either to the police, a single phone call could have changed her aspect. And the crazy thing is that my sister was born as well in 2002, so she would have been 20 years old today. She was never able to experience the things that my sister got to experience: prom, graduating, her first boyfriend, getting married, having kids of her own. It just boils me. So with that being said, I can't even look at you guys because like crying. Like I said, it took me a minute to not cry, but I was holding it in. That's why I kind of like skimmed through it this time, just because it's infuriating, and it's a case that is always going to be infuriating. And I just hope that there's no other child that ever, never goes through that, which Brianna did, And if you see a child, there's children that are going to ask for help. There's children that are not, that they're going to be scared. Do your part. Do your part, do your part, do your part. If you have any second thoughts, just do it. Because say, si no hicieron nada a sus papás, or someone's not hurting them, it's going to get cleared. Okay? So do your part. Help those who can't defend themselves, please. So with that being said, thank you so much for stopping by. I will be getting back on it, I promise. I just need to step back because these cases do take a mental toll on you, okay? And especially now with the holidays, it affects you. So like I said, thank you so much for stopping by, and yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe and check out one of my other videos while you're at it. So yeah, be smart, be safe, but have fun. Bye.